Hello, fellow Days of Our Lives fans. Oh, where do I even begin with this one? If you've been riding the roller coaster that is Salem for as long as I have decades of DiMera schemes, Carver family heartaches, and Marlena Evans' unbreakable spirit, you know that the minute a secret, this massive starts bubbling under the surface, the whole town is about to explode. So let's talk about the question that's keeping me up at night. What happens when Marlena finds out everything E.J. DiMera has been doing behind closed doors? What will the good doctor do when the truth about Lexi, Carver's impossible return, lands squarely in her lap? Buckle up, because this storyline is pure soap opera gold, and it's about to get darker, twistier, and more devastating than anything we've seen in years. Let's back up just a little, because context matters in a town like Salem, where no one ever really stays dead, and every miracle comes with a sinister price tag. We all remember Theo Carver Abe's brilliant, complicated son who stepped into the DiMera Enterprises boardroom like he was born for it, only to realize that wearing the crown in that family comes with more curses than blessings. Theo has quietly handed the CEO reins over to Johnny DiMera. That move wasn't just about corporate restructuring. It was Theo stepping away from the very empire that's now hiding the most unholy secret of all. Because Theo knows. He knows exactly what EJ has been up to in those shadowed DiMera labs, the kind of experiments that make Dr. Rolf's old tricks look like child's play. And then came the moment none of us saw coming. Lexi Carver, Theo's mother, the woman we all mourned and buried years ago, walking back into Salem like a ghost who decided the afterlife wasn't finished with her yet. The return hit her family like a freight train. Abe Carver's steady, honorable Abe, who has rebuilt his life with Paulina Price, suddenly he found himself staring at the love of his younger years, alive, breathing, and every bit the woman he once vowed to protect. Paulina, bless her fierce heart, has been nothing short of a rock for Abe, through every loss and every scandal. But watching her husband's face light up with a mixture of joy, guilt, and pure disbelief, that tension is thick enough to cut with a scalpel. Family dinners at the Carver Price house have become minefields. Whispers behind closed doors, stolen glances. Paulina trying to be gracious while her entire world tilts on its axis. Abe torn between the woman who gave him Theo and the woman who helped him heal after losing her. It's the kind of raw, human drama that Days of Our Lives does better than anyone else on daytime television. Theo, caught in the middle of it all, did what any young man carrying the weight of the world would do. He walked into Marlena's office looking for answers. You know, Marlena Doctor, Marlena Evans, Brady, the woman who has counseled half of Salem through kidnappings, possessions, and more resurrections than I can count. She's the town's moral compass, the one who listens without judgment and keeps every confidence locked away behind those compassionate eyes. When Theo sat down on her couch, she leaned in voice, soft and steady, and promised him the one thing therapists in Salem rarely deliver: absolute secrecy. Whatever you tell me stays in this room, Theo. I'm here for you. Not for the DiMeras. Not for the Carvers, just for you. But oh honey, Marlena had no idea what she was about to hear. The session started like so many others, Theo talking about the pressure of the DiMera name, the guilt of walking away from the CEO chair, the way his father's eyes keep drifting toward a past he thought was gone forever. And then the dam broke. In a voice barely above a whisper, Theo looked Marlena dead in the eye and said, the words that are going to change everything. My mom is alive. Lexi is alive because of EJ. He did an experiment. It brought her back. Picture Marlena's face in that moment. Those elegant features that have weathered demonic possessions and serial killer stalkers suddenly frozen in disbelief. Her pen stopping mid-note, the air in the room going thick and heavy. Because this isn't just another DiMera to resurrection plot cooked up in some basement lab. This is EJ. E.J. DiMera, the man who has lied, cheated, and clawed his way through every power struggle in Salem, playing God with life and death itself. We're talking about technology or sorcery, or some unholy blend of both that none of us fully understand yet. But Theo knows the details. He's seen the files, heard the late-night phone calls, watched the way E.J.'s security team moves, like shadows around the DiMera compound. And now he's handed that knowledge to the one woman in Salem who has never been afraid to stand up to the DiMera machine. So what happens next? That's the million-dollar question that has every fan and every Facebook group, and every comment section losing their minds. Marlena has spent her entire career protecting the vulnerable, exposing the corrupt, and fighting for truth in a town built on secrets. She loves Abe like family, she watched Theo grow up, and she knows deep in her bones that Lexi's return isn't some benevolent miracle. It's a calculated move that could tear the Carver family apart and drag half of Salem down with it. Will she go straight to Abe? Will she confront EJ herself? Those piercing eyes of hers cutting through every layer of his charm and menace? Or will she do what she always does try? To heal first and expose second. And here's where the real danger kicks in. Because EJ DiMera doesn't play nice when his secrets are threatened. We've seen what happens to people who get too close to his truth. Remember the way certain inconvenient witnesses have simply vanished. The accidents, the sudden disappearances, the bodies that turn up weeks later, the stories that don't quite add up. EJ has made people disappear before, and he'll do it again if it protects his empire. Marlena is no ordinary threat. She's the woman who once survived being buried alive, who faced down the devil himself literally. But even Marlena has her limits. If EJ decides she knows too much, will he turn that same twisted science on her? Will we see another Marlena is dead funeral only for her to resurface months later with a brand new nightmare attached? The ripple effects are already spreading. Johnny taking over as CEO means he's now sitting at the head of the table where these experiments are funded. Does Johnny know? Is he complicit? Or is he another pawn in EJ's game? And what about Chanel and the rest of the younger generation? Will they be forced to choose sides in a war that's been brewing since Stefano's days? Paulina's already walking on eggshells at home. How long before she demands answers from Abe, only to realize the truth is far worse than any affair or business rivalry? This is the beauty and the heartbreak of Days of Our Lives. Every secret carries 10 more behind it. Every resurrection comes with strings so dark they could strangle the entire town. Theo pouring his heart out to Marlena wasn't just therapy. It was the spark that could ignite a full-blown DiMera Carver war, the likes of which Salem hasn't seen since the 90s. We've waited years for Lexi to find her way back to her family, but now that she's here, the cost might be higher than any of them can pay. So my fellow soap addicts, what do you think Marlena will do? Will she keep her promise of confidentiality and watch the Carver family implode from the sidelines? Or will her sense of justice push her straight into EJ's crosshairs? Will we get explosive confrontation scenes in the DiMera mansion, tearful reunions at the Carver house, and maybe even a courtroom showdown if Marlena decides to blow the whistle on the entire unethical experiment? I've been watching this show long enough to know that no secret stays buried forever, especially not when Marlena Evans is the one holding the shovel. The writers have been planting these seeds for months, and now the harvest is here. Theo's therapy session is the turning point. Lexi's return is the emotional gut punch. EJ's experiment is the ticking time bomb. And Marlena, she's the match that could light the fuse. Stay tuned, Salem fans. Grab your popcorn, or hug your favorite throw pillow, and keep your eyes glued to the screen. Because when Marlena learns the full truth about what EJ has done to bring Lexi back from the dead, nothing in Days of Our Lives will ever be the same again. The question isn't just, what will Marlena do? It's, how many lives will be destroyed before the truth finally sets them all free? We'll find out together, one shocking episode at a time. Until then, what are your theories? Drop them in the comments, because I know I'm not the only one who's been theorizing about this bombshell since the first whisper of Lexi's return. This is the kind of high-stakes drama that reminds us why we've been loyal to Days of Our Lives for all these years. The love, the betrayal, the impossible comebacks, and the unbreakable human spirit that somehow survives even the most diabolical experiments EJ DiMera can dream up.